When you get back into Animal Crossing after you haven't for a while, they give you a guilt trip.
No, that happened to me, and it actually pissed me off. I mean, like they were telling me, they're like, "Hey, where you been?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I've been living my life working at group. Get a fucking job, Cheryl, and then maybe we can talk."
Everybody, it's the AwayCast number 17 coming at you. Hello, Gregory.
Hello, everybody.
What's going on, brother?
Not too much.
Bro?
What's up, bro?
Dude?
What's up, dude?
Hey, nothing. I'm just hanging out.
Good.
This is the AwayCast number 17. We've been doing this for a while now. I'm still happy to see that you're showing up.
Well,
you're here.
We're at my house right now, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't really have a choice.
Okay. Josh.
Yeah, what up, yo?
Oh, there you go, man. Your voice is hoarse. What have you been doing?
Yeah, I worked the smoothie tent at Lollapalooza this weekend.
What?
Yeah, I know, crazy, man.
I saw on your Twitter, it said slinging smoothies at Lollapalooza.
That's what I was doing. I was slinging mad smoothies. I was pumping them out. We made the guy whose tent we were working for, he was in a great mood, so I'm assuming he made a lot of money. It seemed like we moved a lot of smoothies.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I could tell you were like a newsy about smoothies because your voice is gone. You're probably like, smooth raspberry.
You gotta do the town crier shtick, where you're sitting there, you're like, we got smoothies, blueberry, strawberry, mixed berry. Get an energy shot for $1.
They had that too, like you could do energy shots.
Was it like Jamba Juice?
Like a green tea powder that would infuse with it, and it's like it's that total like organic, like straight from the farm, like mixed with apple cider, no dairy. And so we were like the main vegan spot on lockdown at Lollapalooza.
Did you just put like a big spoon into some powder and that's like the ingredients? I
didn't make them. I was strict customer service. I was the front man.
What's your favorite thing?
That's appropriate for you, right?
Yeah, that's good.
It was. I felt like I was in my zone.
Dude, do you like this beer? I think it's disgusting.
You don't like it?
No, it tastes like
beer.
No, it tastes like white trash.
You've had white trash in your mouth?
I just feel like the taste, it just reminds me of like being like young and hanging out with like neighbors' older brothers and like sipping beer and it tasting horrible.
And it just smells? I don't know. I like it. I like Newcastle. Speaking of that,
I hate it.
Speaking of beers,
I'm gonna keep drinking it, but I don't like it.
Speaking of beers, I have to say hey to
really
Brad and Javier. Yeah, they totally sent us a couple $,
really,
which is awesome. Well, it's for my birthday, but I told them I wasn't going to accept the money unless I can give them a shout on our podcast.
Oh, great.
So speaking of beer, they're starting up a brewing company. So it's Squarehead Brewing.
Squarehead.
Yeah, check them out. Facebook, do all that stuff that you do for us.
What is how long? I mean, is it just like?
No, they're just starting to get going. They're getting all their permits together.
Oh, okay.
Brad's been doing some brewing for a while, but
all right, great. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, right. Check them out. Thanks, guys.
We'll give it a taste.
Why not? I've had it. His beer is actually pretty good. I can't wait to see if they actually
send
make
your
something.
Product.
I'm hoping we can get maybe we can get a beer going. The Away beer.
Yeah.
The beer.
I think we still got
another way around beer. Another beer. Another way beer.
Another beer around.
Another beer is pretty good. Just another beer.
Just another beer. What do you got there?
Just another beer.
Just another beer.
Just another beer.
I'll drink that.
Can I have another beer?
Can I have another beer?
Oh, look at
man.
that.
No.
The commercial is
good.
already being shot.
Monopoly. We're monopolizing
No,
this.
what we're doing is we're telling people great names for beers that they're gonna use.
They might. They can do it.
Well,
maybe we'll work out a partnership. We'll get a beer for the AwayCast going. This way, at events, we can be like, here, want to come check us out on the internet? Have a beer.
Have another beer.
Have another beer. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's
good.
too good to give away,
Shit
man.
sells itself,
I don't
man.
know, man. That's too good
What
to give away.
are we going to start a brewery? Me and you, Greg?
Fuck, man.
He wants to go back and edit the podcast and take this out.
Another
It's
beer.
gonna add this to the multitude of $1 million idea that Greg has.
Oh, I didn't tell you about this. Is kind of funny. I was out on Long Island last weekend, and I was doing this thing with some friends, and one of the guys goes, "Hey, man, I was listening to your podcast, and the ice cream sandwich shop. That was my idea. I've had that idea for years." I was like, "What?"
Oh.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "I was gonna call it Sub-Zero."
What?
Oh, I like Sub-Zero.
Right?
You know, and apparently, like, he was pretty serious about it. Like, he was talking to, like, pastry chefs on how to make the cookie. Like, he was like, so when he heard me bring it up, he was pretty upset.
So everyone, Greg had this idea. Do you want me to explain it again real quick, Greg? You want to explain it? Go ahead.
I mean, it's just, the idea was that you go to like a
deli, quote.
Well, no, it's like a dessert. It would be a dessert place, but really what it looks like a deli on the inside. And you pick your ice cream and pretty much use like a big meat slicer because the ice cream is frozen solid, and they cut it into like slices and they make it what looks like an actual sandwich, not like your regular ice cream sandwich out of the freezer. It'll look like it, you know, the bread will look like bread, right? Or it'll look like hero, you know, whatever it is. The sauce, instead of mayo, it'll be like, you know, marshmallow sauce, whatever.
Marshmallow sauce.
Whatever it's got to be. But it's just themed. It's a themed restaurant. I thought this was a genius idea.
And apparently it's not original.
But it's original.
It's still pretty original.
I gotta say, I still think mine, I would have called it something like, you know, more like butchery kind of sounding. Sub-Zero sounds kind of like you go in and it'd be like very white, and it'd be like a guy wearing like a shiny suit behind the counter, like he's in space or something.
Like a space suit.
Yeah.
Like a onesie, space onesie.
That's how it's pictured to me. Like in my world, in my shop, it'd be like the guy behind the counter would look like a butcher and have like blood all over his
it's great
smock.
for kids.
And he'd have like a big mustache, and he'd be like, "Hey, go on, let's go," you know. But it'd be like a themed. You go there because it's funny, and the guy is, you know, he's acting. You know, it's a fun experience.
Yeah, he's hamming it up.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have the Burger King to his McDonald's.
I think I had, yeah.
Well, there you're putting McDonald's, because McDonald's is obviously does better.
Well, and I was just making the arbitrary comparison.
Well, don't be so arbitrary with your comparison.
I'm sorry,
because Greg was offended a little.
I don't mean to call your idea of Burger King.
I mean, I prefer Burger King, but I know if you look at the numbers, it's not, you know, it's not McDonald's.
99 billion sold. Whatever it says, right?
It's over 100 billion.
100 billion.
It's got to be over 100 billion by now.
Last time I checked that sign.
I don't know how many hamburgers they've sold.
So somebody else had that idea.
They probably sold more wraps at this point because people want to be healthy.
McWraps?
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
I was watching Assassin's Creed 4 gameplay stuff, Pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, do either of you know the practicality behind when a man loses his hand, you give him a hook? Why does he have a hook?
Because it's definitely a hook. You can grab stuff with it.
I was thinking ropes. Like you could probably work ropes on a boat.
But even like
climbing ropes, and you can
picking
climb
up buckets.
With it.
Just in general, a hook I feel like is, especially if you're on a boat.
But why make it sharp?
Well, you can use it as a weapon then if you get into combat. Now you have two weapons.
Well, yeah, but I gotta say, you know, I'm sure they weren't all sharp. I'm sure some of them were just like little dull hooks.
Some were probably little
when you
wood
look
hooks.
when you look at the movie Pirate, they don't want to give them like a little rounded hook,
like high quality hook.
They want to have like a shiny, you know, a knife, a deadly weapon.
Yeah, because all the ones that we see look like, you know, Captain Hooks.
Yeah,
it's a sharp hook.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to be a hook, I think.
And I agree with Greg. I know hook seems like an appropriate maritime use for that appendage.
Like, what else are you gonna put there?
I think I mean, I see what you're saying. A hook's good.
Yeah,
I just didn't understand. Like,
hook is great.
I was thinking about the other options.
What are they?
A corkscrew.
That's not a good option.
Well, maybe
that was a very specific use.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a good option.
But what if they had a pirate that was like, all right, this one opens the grog?
No. If anything, you get an attachment. You know, for the once in a while when you need a corkscrew.
But I think the like multi-attachment hook is probably pretty pricey. That is
what it is, it's the stump and it has a screw in it, and you could screw in the hook, unscrew the hook, screw in the corkscrew opener, unscrew the corkscrew opener.
That's how a hook works. How does it work when they put it on their stump?
Well, I mean, I saw a documentary called Hook.
Probably Crazy Glue.
Done by Steven Spielberg, and he
I saw that too.
You could pull off the hook, and then like he'd snap another, you know, different hook on.
Yeah, no,
that's how it works. I assume Steven Spielberg did his research.
That was a very well done documentary.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking maybe there was a safer option, but you're probably right, Greg, that there's
when we're talking pirates, we're not talking safety.
No, you're right. You're right.
You know, you don't think safety.
How do you take a leak?
Use your other hand.
Yeah, I mean, very carefully.
What about guys who lose the whole arm?
How do you get dressed in the morning?
What about guys who lose the whole arm? What about people with no arms? You figure shit out. You make a way. You do it. You figure it out.
You're right. I'm just thinking pirates specifically.
I think that if you lost, even if you only had one arm, I could put pants on with one arm. I can do a lot of things with one arm.
Okay.
All right. Case closed.
So I wouldn't give you a hook then if you lost it. I'd say Gregg's good with one arm. We wouldn't give you a hook.
Why? I'm just saying.
That brings up a whole other question. Like, what do you think the barrier of entry was for the hook? How much money do you think a hook would cost? You think any pirate could just get a hook?
I mean, if it came down to it, you can just fucking make it a hook. You know, you can just make something until you had enough.
You can make a hook with one hand?
Yeah, you can. you can. You find something that looks hookish, and then you just
shove it right onto
you crazy glue it onto your stump.
Of your skin.
What looks hookish? That's not a hook.
Arg, past the crazy glue.
Look, if you're working on a boat, there's hook shit everywhere. You know, just fucking unscrew one. You know, just take a boat. You know, especially if you're like
break an anchor in half.
Not that. I mean, if you're like boarding other boats, you just take their stuff.
That's true. They probably got a hook laying around.
We're talking pirates here. They get what they want, man. They'll kill for it. I think.
Well, if they got a weapon like a hook.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Pirates, hooks, Hook, the movie.
Hooked on phonics.
Yeah, all good stuff.
All good stuff. All good things. Gregg.
Yeah.
All right, man. It seems like every time we start this podcast, you get a little down.
I just haven't. No, I'm not down. I just haven't played too many games this week, and work is. You know, I got. You know,
life. Life. That's why we come on here. We get happy. We talk.
I know. I'm just a little blah today. I can be blah.
It seems like blah every Sunday night.
I was pretty good last week. I don't know if you guys recall my Ira Glass impression was pretty spot on.
I do. I remember the Ira Glass impression.
It's pretty good. I'm sure a lot of people out there know that you have a good Ira Glass impression.
Most people probably didn't even know what the beginning of our show was. So.
No, I bet you a lot of people, because we ran some ads this week, I bet you some people turned on for the first time and were like, what is going on? What are they trying to do?
I hope in a perfect world they turned it on. They said, oh fuck, I started my This American Life podcast. God damn
it. Whoops. And then keep going, and then we're talking about Phil Fish.
Yeah.
So big week for games, right? No? We're working in August, so I think we're about to
think this is the last hurdle into the smorgasbord of games that's coming.
We're about to get smashed in the face with a whole shitload of games. Starting today, Pikmin 3 came out today, which apparently a lot of outlets gave it some pretty good scores, which I'm excited to play. But for some reason, Amazon's not getting it to me till the 7th, even though it came out today.
That sucks.
Slacking asses.
You usually say they give it to you like the day before.
Yeah, well, they have release day delivery. They have that. And I have Amazon Prime. I'm a loyal customer. I always order everything from Amazon. They screw me.
They didn't screw you.
Pikmin 3, a couple days late. I'm getting totally screwed. My life is all out of whack. Don't know what to do.
Who cares about Pikmin?
Oh, okay, Gregg.
Who
cares about everything?
It does seem like more of the same Pikmin. I think that this is constantly the feeling I get from these Nintendo games, is that they're just doing more of the same.
Apparently it did well. Well, I don't know. I read some numbers.
And people really seem to like it. But so let me ask you this, John, what is the aspect of Pikmin 3 that is different than Pikmin 2 aside from, the obvious?
Nothing. I've never really played the Pikmin games.
Yeah, and so that's just kind of where, even with Animal Crossing, as I was playing that game, I was aware that this is not very different than previous Animal Crossings.
Well, I think the reason this Pikmin is going to be important is because it's kind of throwing some water on a significant drought Nintendo's had in the past few months.
Oh, that's true. That's definitely true.
So it's more so this is their first killer app that they're throwing out there, and it's being received well, which says a lot. People are giving it 9s, 9.5s. So I think it's definitely worth at least checking out to see what's different. Apparently the puzzling aspect is pretty tough. There's actually pretty decent puzzles. It's not just tap on your screen until stuff happens. So I'm interested. I don't know. I trust some of the people I've listened to, their reviews. I trust them. So we'll see.
I don't doubt that Nintendo does that type of game, and especially are well practiced in making those games and reiterating on those franchises. And I don't doubt the quality, but it's just one the constant question that I get, and that we constantly ask of Nintendo is why are we getting the same thing again?
It might be the same thing when I got Luigi U. I was pumped. I was couldn't wait till it come out. I got it, played a world or two, and I was oh yeah, it's this again. So I don't know. Might be the same thing with Pikmin, but Pikmin hasn't been out for a while. It's not like Mario where there are different names for these titles that are keep released, multi-platform stuff. 3DS, blah 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 blah. I did get I'm a big Donkey Kong Country fan. I don't know if you guys are fans. DKC,
Of course.
yeah. But I picked up Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D on my 3DS Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's pretty good. I played through about half of the first world, a little more than that, and it's more Donkey Kong, which is awesome, with just enough to keep it different. There's you collect those banana coins. Remember banana coins?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You connect banana coins. Now Cranky Kong, you can go to his shop and buy upgrades.
Of course.
Yeah. They do a couple cool things with the art style on certain levels. There's a sunset happening in the background, so everything in the foreground is silhouette.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is neat. Yeah, they do a couple little tricks like that keep the gameplay constant variables involved. There are certain times where you jump into a barrel and it'll set you into the background. So I guess they play with the 3D plane thing a little bit. I didn't even play with the 3D slider up, but it was cool.
More often than not, I don't play with my 3D slider up just because I find it more annoying than anything.
Yeah, it hurts the brain. Like my eyes get crossed.
If you start moving the Game Boy at all, it's like hell.
When you move to the left and the right.
There ends up being there's like shadows everywhere. There's like two of them.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely the best time to get a 3DS if you're going to get one, because they just dropped the price on the XL, I think.
Oh, nice.
Well, refurbished XLs are like $169 now on Nintendo's website with a 1-year warranty. So if you were going to get one, I'd say now, especially since Dream Team, Mario and Luigi Dream Team comes out the 10th, I think, this month, 10th or 11th. So, I don't know. The DS is just so much better. It's just better than the Wii U. It's better than the Vita for me right now.
I very much enjoy my DS. I think it works really well.
Yeah, I'm glad I got it. It feels right. It feels right when I play it. I don't know. It feels like Nintendo, which is good. It harkens back to the time of yore when Nintendo had something going for it. So, you're getting Dragon's Crown for Vita though, right, Josh?
Yeah, actually, and I was going to say that I would be dusting off my Vita, but that's not true because I played Stealth Inc. on my Vita last week. But I know it was that same thing where every time I turn on that Vita, I'm just like, oh man, I have not played you consistently in a while.
Right. Yeah, I haven't touched my Vita in a while. Last game I played was what's the RPG?
Soul Sacrifice? Oh no, you played Persona 4 Golden.
Persona 4, right. And that was the last thing I played on there. Actually I lied. Guacamelee.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to be getting Dragon's Crown for PS3. I'm excited to play that this week. Josh and I are going to play. Hopefully it works cross-platform. I mean, it does. I know it does, but hopefully it works well. But I got that coming. But
I'm excited. This is exactly what I'm looking for on my Vita too. It's like long and grindy, and exactly what Persona 4 Golden was. Is like I sunk dozens and dozens of hours into that game. Just sitting in front of my TV, and I feel like I can do that with Dragon's Crown too. And like just maybe play an hour here or there just throughout my day. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, if anyone wants to play Dragon's Crown with us, it looks super neat. Looks like a side-scroll beat 'em up with a really sick art style, with loot and levels to gain.
Yeah, harkening back to those Dungeons and Dragons side scrollers.
Yeah, looks real neat. I'm excited to get going on that and try to. I don't know. It's only what was it? A $40 title?
It was $50 for the PS3, $40 for the Vita.
50. So, yeah, looks exciting. It looks a little crowded when you're playing 4-player local, or even online from the gameplay that I've seen. But if you're into beat 'em ups and RPGs at all, I think you should really give it a shot.
And like I know that's one of the criticisms specifically being levied at the Vita is that it can get a little crowded. But to be honest, all of those beat 'em ups eventually turn a little bit crowded and get pretty chaotic.
Yeah, and what's nuts about it is actually you don't take damage, but there is friendly fire, or you can hit your teammates.
Okay.
Which in such a small area, and especially since the characters are super exaggerated, all their features are exaggerated. Lots of giant boobs and giant muscular men.
Yeah.
So they take up a wide portion of the screen. That's why I was a little concerned about getting them for Vita, but we'll see. So pretty big news this week for me. Would you say that, fellas?
Oh, for the Bioshock DLC?
How'd you know? How'd you know what I was talking about?
How did I know that you fucking love Bioshock?
What was it, Monday morning? I woke up Monday morning, and it was like Christmas and my birthday and New Year's Eve all put together.
Did you got Clash in the Clouds?
I got Clash in the Clouds, yep. But the day the trailer went up, Ken Levine on his Twitter said 8 a.m. the next day, so I'm obviously up at 8. I was refreshing, and actually I caught it on Reddit. So Bioshock Infinite announced their DLC. That dropped. The first part of their DLC dropped on, it was Monday, I guess, right? Or Tuesday? What was it?
On
I think it was Monday.
Yeah,
it was Monday. So they dropped their first piece on Monday. I think they did that strategically because Clash in the Clouds is their first DLC, and it's an arena combat mode with levels with some upgrades. And
I thought that would have been. I mean, it's fun. I didn't play that much of it because it's kind of one of those things. I was telling you before the show, like I'll do when I have nothing else to do. It's
right.
Like, you unlock stuff, but I thought it would have been more fun if they had multiplayer. If I was able to do that with someone else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's just like challenge arenas, right?
Yeah. So there's 4 different stages. I think the hub menu that they have for it, when you first go into the DLC, you go into the Columbia Archaeological Society room. So you're in there, and there's a leaderboards thing on the right. It shows like these trophies. And then there's 4 paintings on the walls to the 4 different levels, which you unlock with currency that you gain as you progress through the levels. So also with currency, you can buy gun upgrades and vigor upgrades. And you can also visit this area. It's kind of like a museum. So you can unlock music from the game. You can unlock concept art from the game. You can unlock player models. You can unlock... actually, there are some audio... voxophones. If you unlock certain,
pretty much you play, you get money, and then there's a bunch of shit to unlock.
Yeah, some of the unlockable stuff in the actual museum part is really, if you're a fan like me, I mean, I really enjoyed it. If you unlock a couple of specific people, there are some voxophones that answer a couple of small questions that people may have had throughout the game. Nothing significant, but enough to answer something if you had that specific question. And for me, unlocking the music was cool. They also have some behind the scenes stuff with Troy Baker and what's her face?
Courtney Draper.
Yep. So that's cool.
From what you're telling me, it definitely sounds like it sounds like Gregg is very right here, where it sounds like it would be the perfect multiplayer DLC.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a horde mode, man. Like, so what happens is you start the first level, say, and you go on wave 1, and you have to either kill everyone there, or then there's this optional thing called a blue ribbon challenge, where you have to earn the blue ribbon for that round and get like a cash bonus. You have to kill everyone with skyhook melee attacks only, or like from the skyhook only. And as you go through the levels, you continually rack up cash, and the next level might be like kill everyone with only shotguns, kill all the firemen using bucking bronco and shock only. So they add a whole bunch of
the game is also like really about they focus on the leaderboard thing a lot too, because it's not multiplayer. It's all about like just seeing how good your friends are doing, how many blue ribbons you got here compared to how many blue ribbons you got here,
right?
What your max score was, because they have like a little leaderboard section in the Archaeological Society. So it's kind of like, it's not multiplayer per se, but you're always kind of competing with your friends as far as your like score. It's almost like an arcade style. Yeah,
they definitely focused on the combat. So anybody that left Bioshock Infinite that was like, I feel like you didn't get enough of, if you're switching vigors and you're using a gun and then you swap out, jumps in the skyline, you got into those little moments in those areas in Bioshock Infinite where you felt kind of powerful, where the combat was really fluid, and there's also times where it felt really crappy. But if you want more combat out of Bioshock, this is the DLC to go for. I think the reason that they released this DLC the same day as that they announced the next 2 pieces,
because it's not enough on its own.
Well, that's the thing, is they covered their asses.
Yeah.
If they came out and were like, all right, say weeks ago, they came out and were like, we're coming out with this Clash in the Clouds. It's an arena, dude. It would have been the end of the world. Everyone would have been flipping
out.
Really?
That's what I paid for season pass for?
Right.
For that?
So what they did strategically was they said, we have an announcement for the season pass holders and for the DLC. An arena combat mode that comes out today, but we also have so part 2 and 3.
They announced
part 1 and 2.
They announced
it's going to be 2 parts.
But is that one DLC or is that?
It's 2.
No, it's 2.
It's 2 and 3.
This is the other 2 parts of the DLC.
So number 1 is going to be Clash in the Clouds,
right?
And then 2 and 3 is going to be Burial at Sea. It's called.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah. Well, they're getting this all in under the gun before new consoles come out.
That fucking sucks.
Why?
Because so now I'm not going to be able to play all the way through Burial Sea when it comes out. I'm going to have to stop at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll have to wait for the second part.
Well, what happens is the first one you play is Booker and the second one you play is Elizabeth. So they might do a perspective thing or they might work something like that.
I hate that. They should have just fucking gave you the whole thing and then gave us something else. Because I was also hoping that some of the DLC would be back in Infinite. They would do
Columbia?
something with something with Columbia also. You know,
I don't think they're totally going to rule everything out, but I have to say I was happy to go back to Rapture.
No, I wanted to do that, but once I found that out, I assumed there was going to be another DLC that I thought maybe because there's so many side stories that are happening in Colombia that they could have done something. You know,
I'm hoping maybe they develop it as sort of a $15 Blood Dragon DLC for the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really neat.
Interesting.
But
they're also a bit under the gun, not only because they're trying to do this before the new consoles get launched, but because Ken Levine is also going to be writing Logan's Run.
Correct.
And so he has that baby that he has to start. Eventually, he's going to have to turn his focus to. So I imagine he wants to pump out this DLC rather quickly. And I'm not saying he's not going to commit fully to it, but I'm just saying that he's good. He has a timetable that he needs to work on.
Well, I know that they're already in beta for the first half of Burial at Sea, and what Burial at Sea is, it's seems like Booker, another lighthouse, whatever. Seems like Booker is coming in as a sleuth because he was a Pinkerton agent in the other one, obviously. So it makes sense that he comes in as like
a private eye.
And in the trailer we see him click his fingers to use a plasmid.
Yeah,
I guess so. They're coming back. Apparently, they're going to be drinkable plasmids. And we see Elizabeth as kind of like the
femme fatale,
like Jessica Rabbit style noir lady. And it looks really interesting. And I'm finally can say that we played a Bioshock game that took place during the fall of Rapture because
that's very cool.
That was always like, when are we going to get to do that? We went through all Bioshock 1, and at that point, DLC wasn't like a big deal. So then through Bioshock 2, there was a couple of rounds of DLC. Well, Minerva's Den was great, but I was like, damn, like I really wanted to play.
Minerva's Den was awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
That was like better than the game for me.
Better than Bioshock 2. Yeah, I didn't care for Bioshock 2 very much.
Yeah, but Minerva's Den was so fucking good.
Yeah, it was. The ending was
so good.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to return to a Rapture where nothing is wrong yet. It's going to be like going into Columbia.
I'm wondering how quick it's going to break out. I wonder if there's going to be if there's going to be time like to actually explore.
It's super interesting because Levine was talking about that, and he said that most people's favorite part of Bioshock Infinite was the beginning. When you're just kind of wandering around interacting with the world. And he said he took that to heart, and he really wanted to make the first part of the DLC be a lot more of that, a lot more of wandering around the world, interacting with things. And less combat focus.
I want to just make sure I see like a majority of the stuff I saw in the first Bioshocks just before it went to shit. I want to go through like all the theaters and all like the little mall areas. And
that's where it fucking kicks you in the gut is when stuff like that resonates and you see something you recognize and you're like, oh shit, that's where I fought that Splicer.
I just don't want things to go to shit before I see something that
I think he's like what Josh said. I heard that same interview and it seems like he was talking about sitting in someone's office listening to a record or something. So I'm sure there's a lot of setup, and I'm hoping there is too. I mean,
well, and he said the second part with Elizabeth is going to be more of a survival horror aspect. With you using obviously she'll be using the tears and stuff like that, but she's not going to be a run and gun, which is what most of Bioshock has been up to this point. So the fact that they're taking a very different turn with her is incredibly interesting and could be fantastic because you're probably playing as her during the real fall, like when things really go bad.
Right.
And if you're more just trying to survive, if you're gunless or you have limited weapons at your disposal, it could make it really, really cool and really terrifying.
Yeah, she apparently has to rely more heavily on traps.
Tears.
Trap. Well, they said she's more of a trap, like setting up traps for the big daddies and stuff, because she can't take one head on because she's frail, apparently. So I was just pumped to see her with a little sister. And there's theories already going around. Actually, Kate brought up a theory. She's like, I bet you, what if Elizabeth is a little sister and it's going to tie into Jack rescued her in the first Bioshock, like all this crazy shit. I can't wait to see what they do with the story. I'm excited.
I just don't want to get Kentucky Route Zero'd. I don't want to start. I don't want to start playing this game,
and then have to stop.
I already have that going on right now, and I
so many games are doing that now. Half-Life did it.
No, but the thing when Half-Life did it, there was like an ending, and then it was like, okay.
And then they're like, we wrote ourselves into this. Yeah, we can write ourselves out of it.
I just don't want to. Like, I'm gonna. It sounds like there might not be a cliffhanger. Like, it sounds like the way they're doing it, like, is almost a completely different game happening afterwards, which would be interesting. Yeah. I just want there to be a resolve. I want to get this DLC and have an experience and not have to stop halfway through. You know?
Well, I don't think it's going to be like an insert disc 2.
Yeah. Well, no. I just don't want to like get to. I just don't want to never like climax, like hit a climax during the game and just be working my way up to that. Still, I want to be able to play it and get through.
I could see how that could maybe give some anxiety. Like, when's this going to end? Like, I don't want it, and then it's going to not abruptly, but kind of guide you into the end.
Yeah. I don't have enough room for. I've the Kentucky Route Zero thing right now kills me every day. I check their website every day for some info on it, but I don't want that again. Especially with a game like Bioshock. You know, I don't want to. That's even worse.
I still think you should play The Walking Dead, but you haven't done that yet.
No,
and that's the ultimate of all of those.
Who's got time for that?
Well, and now it's not so bad because The Walking Dead is, you know, like all 5 of those episodes are out, so you can just play all 5 at one in one sitting if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough waiting a few months in between each one.
That was killer. However, it, like, from a marketing standpoint, it's brilliant because people continue to talk about your game over the course of 12 months. Is like, you know, you talk about a game like Tomb Raider. Like, we've said nothing about Tomb Raider since it originally came out because there's nothing to talk about. Like, I mean, we've all played it, we all experienced it, and move on. Whereas, like, you know, with something like The Walking Dead or Kentucky Route Zero is a perfect example. Like, we had a Kentucky Route Zero spoiler cast last week, right? Or was it this week that we're having?
No, John didn't finish it, did you?
I didn't finish it yet.
I can't believe you. You must not like it.
I like it.
You don't like it, John.
I like it. I think it's good.
All right, well, you got to finish that. But once again, here we are talking about it. That game originally was released, early in February, I feel like? And we're talking about months and months later because of that episodic nature in which they're releasing it.
Yeah.
It's smart.
I wish they would just release another episode. I wish they were doing it like once a month or something. It seems like they're waiting like probably it's going to be like another couple months before this one comes out. And
especially being as they haven't said anything about
Yes, I know. That's what bothers me. But they didn't say anything about Act 2. They just threw that out there out of nowhere.
They just dropped it.
Out of nowhere. And that was, that was awesome. But
so what'd you think of Shadowrun?
It's good. I love and we were talking about Shadowrun last week and basically how it is that throwback RPG where it's that isometric, like 3/4 down view. And you're like, it's no voiceover, it's all dialogue, and all that stuff is very cool. I dig the XCOM combat style. I think that I like fighting in that style. It feels right to me. My brain processes that very well. I don't feel like too much is ever going on. I like the writing a lot. That noir style is very cool. I don't know if that's inherent with the Shadowrun universe. It seems like it is. It seems like that's just how that universe talks, is in that kind of like old-timey, like 1940s noir movie.
It's the writing is very good. I just reading through the text, I actually read through each dialogue option and read all the results. Yeah, it's written well. It's like I don't know. I feel like I'm reading a Frank Miller comic book. I'm reading some Sin City in a good way.
And I like that world. I think the world, and obviously they didn't create that. Like, that's based on a Shadowrun universe that already exists, but it is very cool. And that cyberpunk meets noir meets fantasy creatures living in it. And it has that very mystery feel where you're investigating this murder, you're trying to find the killer, you're kind of getting clues along the way, meeting witnesses along the way. I played it good. I think I'm about 3/4 through it.
Yeah, so you're way past me. I haven't touched it, actually.
Well, and like, I think that it's missing some key things. And I think that's just because it's on a Kickstarter budget. It doesn't have a lot of luxuries at its disposal. But, you know, like we talked about, it's incredibly linear. There's not a lot of side questing involved. It's not open world at all. Like, it's not sandboxy in any way, which is what a lot of those old RPGs were, you know, especially I think
Fallout.
I fell in love with Baldur's Gate before I fell in love with Fallout. And Baldur's Gate is that, like, you know, literally the world's open. Just go and find people and explore things and see what you can see. Whereas this is very much like in the world of the D&D campaigns, which is what it's ripping off, that tabletop fantasy. This is much more like a narrow driven area.
But
and
you see what I was saying? You see what I was saying with the community, the player created content?
Yeah, I hope that stuff gets really good. Like, I hope that it has a lot of options. I don't get into that stuff a lot. Like, when I got Sound Shapes, there's a bunch of user created levels and stuff like that. And I picked it up and I kind of looked at it and I played through a few of them and I was like, yeah, it's all right.
I'm the same way. For some reason, I can't. Even in Little Big Planet, I was like, I had more fun playing the actual official levels than I did playing a lot of the. I know that's crazy, but
the Neverwinter MMO that came out is like built around that. When you go to the quest board, you know, instead of offering, you know, kind of numerous side quests or just having side quests everywhere, they kind of rely on user created content. And I definitely understand where that comes from, and I definitely understand the love that people have for that stuff. But it just doesn't appeal to me. Like, when I buy a game, when I buy a $60, $20, $15, $10 title, I still feel like I want anything that is user created is kind of icing on the cake. I'm not going to consider that. If I'm doing a review or something like that, I won't even pay attention to that stuff normally, because it's not something that I can adequately judge, because the game didn't make it. People are making it.
Right. Perfect description. Very well done, Josh. Good job. Was that written?
Thank you. It's like I write about video games or something, or review them or something.
That's weird. That's weird of you to say.
But yeah, I do find, like, I think that it's very, very interesting.
Josh,
your internet's hiccuping on you, Josh.
You sound like a robot.
You came in like a robot. First, I see you were doing so good. You're doing so good with your explanation of Shadowrun and user created content that you tweaked out and you turned into a robot.
Not really his fault.
No, it's not. I think he's gone now. Is he here?
He left. Josh?
Okay. Josh just quit. He walked out.
Wow, he must be having some internet issues.
Yeah, might be. Let's see. Maybe he'll call back in as we're. Well, I don't know if he's still here.
No, I don't think
I'll miss him if he's gone.
Let me take a look here.
Just take a look at our console there. Connecting. Oh, did we? That's a first. That's an AwayCast first. We never actually lost him entirely. All right. We're calling Josh up.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, you were on the Funny Morning Zoo crank call.
Am I better now?
I wouldn't say better.
I ran the connection test again, and now it's not being a dick. I was really pissed. I was in the middle of a thought.
Well, we were in the middle of a podcast, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You screwed us, man.
It's all right. Greg's going to fix this all in post.
I think he's going to leave it this time.
We're just going to let it
You're
run.
ruining our integrity as a professional outlet for media.
I'm dragging it all down.
And you were just talking about how good you are at writing. You're I'm so good at writing and being a journalist.
I mean, this is, you can't control the internet. I don't blame Josh at all.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
I still blame Josh a little.
I don't.
You would.
No, Craig's getting emotional about this.
There's nothing to blame. There's no one to blame.
I don't blame Josh for any of it. Shh. Josh.
It's okay. It's
all right. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on here.
Oh, okay. Greg keeping it going. Greg was sick of that skit.
I'm done with this skit.
He was done with that.
It's
Greg,
not a
what do
skit.
you got?
It's real. I got nothing. I'm trying.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Greg, for chiming in.
That's it. That's what I got.
Let me finish my Kickstarter thought, and then we can move on.
All right, go ahead.
So what's really great about Shadowrun Returns is that it's a great Kickstarter game, and there are not a ton of those established yet. And so the more great Kickstarter games we get, the more we can trust this Kickstarter as a reliable source of crowdfunding. And I hope that more of that stuff happens. This is a win column for Kickstarter.
Would you guys say that it's worth the $20 on Steam? It seems a little pricey compared, from what I've been reading.
I think coming off the Steam sale, it seems like a lot of money, but $20 for this game is fine. I think it's
maybe that's the perfect way to pitch it. Is maybe wait for a sale. Like I have to imagine.
I would have bought it already if it was $10. I would have bought it for $10.
Yeah,
20
exactly.
seems
It's
like
definitely worth 10.
Yeah, it feels more in that zone, in that 10 to 15 zone than the full 20
but
zone.
I'm not unhappy with the 20. I'm not even trying to justify my money. I think it's all right.
I was looking for it to do like a compulsive buy the other day, and I was going to buy it just so I had something new to do, but 20 seemed a little steep.
I wouldn't pay 50 for it. I wouldn't pay
20,
25, probably the most.
Well, especially when you make that list of things that it's missing. Like there's no auto saves. Like that's really annoying.
That's something everyone was complaining about, and they, apparently it's actually kind of difficult to get that going as opposed to checkpoint saves. I'm not one for programming, but apparently it taxes the hardware, and it's actually pretty tough to code auto saves.
And once again, like they only have so much money they can do, and I imagine that when it comes down to it, that would be something that it's like, well, are we really going to do this? Are we going to, we only have $20,000 to work with. Is this something we're going to donate that money to, or do we make a badass game? And so, tomato, tomato,
potato, potato,
stuff,
things. Oh man, we were just talking about something this week. Have you looked into, speaking of kind of indie type games, Coming Home?
Oh, I've heard a lot about it. The Idle Thumbs podcast talks about it all the time.
Don't plug other podcasts on our podcast.
Sorry,
anyway,
don't listen to that podcast. They're fucking hacks. They just stutter through the whole damn thing. There's technical issues everywhere.
Technical. Okay. You just described our podcast tonight.
Shut up.
Okay. So Coming Home, I told Greg to check it out. We got to check it out after this if you haven't. It's a, what did they explained it very well on their own website with some very clever terminology to define that genre. But basically, it's first person. You come home from college and your family's gone, and it's in the 90s. It takes place in the 90s. And you end up in your house, and you're piecing together clues that are all around the house to try to figure out this story. And it's one of those things, Greg, where you're kind of just thrown into something, and you kind of it's like Myst, where you kind of have to figure, like Stranger in a Strange Land kind of thing, where you have to figure out what you're doing. But the detail, there's cassette tapes you have to listen to, I don't know. Check it out, Coming Home. I want to talk about it more next week. It comes out August 15th. But it seems like...
do they have a release date?
August 15th.
They have a release date. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it looks really interesting. I can't wait to play it. I love games like that.
That's another great title for August.
Yeah.
Dude, August is on fire.
August is loaded. August. I can't believe how close we are to console releases, man. What are we, 3 months away? August, September, October, November.
About 4 months.
About 4 months. 4 months. Beginning of August now, so I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Wait, are they releasing do they have dates on the consoles yet?
No, but November is implied.
I feel like it's going to be end of November. They're going to get the consoles.
Yeah, that's usually later half of November.
But it's going to be like Thanksgiving.
The question is, before Black Friday, after Black Friday?
It's going to be before Black Friday.
Yeah, you got to get it before Black Friday.
And they're going to release it on a weekend, right? Isn't that typically console releases are weekends?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Let's check the facts on that. But they're getting slim for weekends in November for releases.
Especially if you're beating Thanksgiving.
Apparently, Call of Duty's hurting in the pre-order department because people don't know what console to buy it for yet. So a lot of games that are promised to come out on, what would we call that? Multi-platform, cross-gen.
Yeah.
Pre-orders are hurting because people are unsure. They don't even know if they're going to get an Xbox or a PS4 yet, So Greg and I were watching some cool Frostbite 3 engine stuff. Speaking of the anti-Call of Duty, Battlefield 4 stuff.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
It looks all right.
Looks pretty intense.
Looks fucking crazy what it looks like.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Oh man, we're going into it, guys.
Yeah,
more destructible universe stuff.
Yeah, it just seems like, well, what they're saying is that everything affects everything, and it's totally unique pretty much every time. They went over like the weather systems and like the water and everything, and how everyone sees the same thing as it's happening. So like We're talking about like combat in the water. The waves are all like moving dynamically, so you can like use them as cover if you're sneaking around in the water and stuff like that. And if something hits the water, it'll affect all of the water. Like a jet falls into the water and it'll float on the water, and you can like everything that's happening is like happening for everybody, and
it's synchronous with the server, so that stuff isn't happening on the user side anymore. That's happening on the server side.
But that also goes with like destruction, and the destruction is unique every time, like particle physics and stuff. Like when you blow up a vehicle, or just use a grenade in general, or you blow up a building, the way that everything's like dust and pieces of building and all that stuff kind of like. It reacts differently all the time. And I was talking to John before the show. It can be kind of awesome, like when you get really good and you start using grenades to just like lift up the dirt and use, and get dust in someone's face, or like blow up a car and just, distract people with actual just shit that's laying on the floor, because everything is going to be, it's kind of interesting that everything is, completely.
It gets to a point where they're giving you a sandbox of tools, and then you've kind of figure out what you can do to manipulate the game.
You can just interact with everything that exists there. It can blow up pretty much, or at least react to what you do. And that's, I think, is awesome.
It's cool to use as tools, and I think that's good. I'm just hoping that it seems like more, at least in previous generations and current gen, when you're allowed to manipulate stuff like that, it causes more breakages in the game.
For instance, like people who are going to be able to manipulate their environment are obviously going to fucking roll all over people who are new and don't even know how to do that. Can't even think of ways to do that.
Well, I'm saying also technical problems like clipping issues, things falling where they shouldn't be, or typically cannot fall, will fall in areas where they might clip or disappear. So
what's really fascinating, it seems like this generation is mostly going to be about taking established things that games already do, open world, choice, creating universes, and driving in one very core direction. Like, for instance, it looks like Battlefield is going this ultra real environmental, direction. We are giving you all these tools. The environment completely interacts with you. And it's going to be interesting to see when these things start to collide with each other. Like, that's a very obvious progression for Battlefield, right? I mean, that's always been their shtick, is that the world is dynamic. The world's going to constantly form around you, the destructibility of everything. And so once they start to branch out in other ways, I think that's really when they start adding other elements to it. I think that's really going to be the pinnacle of that next generation.
Well put. I think you're right. I think we mentioned open worlds, and I just got a chance to look at some video for EverQuest Next today, speaking of open world, and it's definitely a next generation MMO if you guys are into that. I know Gregg said he doesn't want to play it because it's almost seems like it's too much. We're getting to a point now where it's going to be completely it'll totally immerse you. You're going to have your actual second life.
The fact that you're building in it and creating content in the game, like with other people, that's just it's gonna become so addicting. It's like Minecraft and World of Warcraft put together. And
they explain in the game that you have your hub cities and things that aren't destructible, but for the most part, the world lives and breathes as its own thing. So people create content within the game. They create cities, castles, ruins, environments of all kinds, and they're completely destructible. And they use voxels, obviously. So when you use an attack in game, if it's an AOE attack or something, you can potentially break parts of the environment. When you teleport, you're creating craters in the ground that other people can see in the world. So, man, there's so much to go over. There's a video I watched. It's about 14 minutes long that goes over a lot of the main ambitions of EverQuest Next. It's hard to all discuss now, especially off the cuff, but they're also saying that AI is programmed in the game, not so much like World of Warcraft, where you can, everyone on every server knows, like, if you go here, you can get this quest to get this loot. In EverQuest, it's going to be different, where the server is going to drop, say, like an orc type character into the landscape, into the world. And he's coded with such behaviors as they like to build camps on roads. They like to pillage for gold. So what happens is the AI recognizes what is that. You're right, Josh? Moving around?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
You getting in under the covers? Am I making you comfy?
No, I'm just getting comfy.
So the AI will go into the world with the ambition of, okay, I'm coded to want to build here. So they will build there, right? So say the orcs set up a village off the road near a gold mine because that's what they're programmed to do. If you and I, Josh, if we go in and we start questing and we take out that orc encampment, they will leave there forever and never be there again. So the world on separate servers is going to live and breathe differently. You there?
Yeah. And like the procedural generation of the procedural generation of quests, I think is incredibly interesting. Like instead of everyone hunting for the same 10 orcs in the same, camp of 50, you're, literally, like you said, you wipe out an orc camp, they leave. Now you have to go wipe out a different orc camp. If the NPCs are recognizing the difference in the world and then responding to that difference in the quest they're feeding you, that's amazing and terrifying at the same time.
It's ground. That's what next gen MMOs need. It's exciting to see, just like you said, procedurally generated games. At this point, we're getting to a point where, like Gregg said, we're going to be living this dynamic other world.
Well, I can imagine. I think what it is incredibly interesting, but it also turns me off from this game is that I can imagine, think if you built a city, if you were the person who established this city, you built the first building, and then like other people came in, they started building buildings around you, and then like an orc tribe comes and wipes your city out. Just imagine what that would do to your soul.
We must rebuild.
I was just thinking, like what if you're in a group of your friends, like you decide one day you find this like little place in the forest, it's like in the middle of nowhere, like let's build a fucking place here.
That's what you're supposed to be able to do.
Right. Yep. So you do that, like me, you and Josh, we make a little place, and then we start finding other people to kind of like come in and like help build our city. And then we got work the next day. So we go to work, and some fucking kids who are sitting at home come find our city and burn it fucking down. Right. Okay. I'm sure they're going to have things where we can put up like, I would hope they have some sort of like, I mean, they're not going to have like sentry guns, but hopefully they'll have something like maybe you can buy like guards for your village or something like that. Yeah, buy a town guard.
That'd make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope they have something like that. Otherwise, like during the day, prime time to just go fuck people shit up because people have a fucking job,
I think how it works is you build it outside of the game, and then you bring it into the game and you begin to build. So say you made something sick, it would still exist outside of the game.
Oh, so you can bring it back in after people.
Right.
That sucks, though.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because then now you accomplish nothing when you ruin someone's shit.
You just wouldn't be a builder. You wouldn't be an architect. That's like real life. Oh, the building's got knocked down.
But then you don't even want to be a pillager at that point either, because like you're not accomplishing anything. Like you're like, these people are building this awesome shit. And you're like, you know what? Our fucking gang is going to take down your awesome shit, and we're going to take that property.
And then that starts the war, and that's the whole point.
Yeah, but then what happens is the next day, the guy who built that one castle that just got taken down copies and pastes it back into the game, and nobody wins.
Well, I'm sure it's going to take resources and time to build again.
I don't like that.
You seem like you just did the thing with Minecraft with Billy. You guys fought each other and burnt each other's shit down.
I don't like that. Here's what I think the game how it should go. Because I already fixed my problem, which was when you're at work, people fucking your shit up. You make it so you can buy like level maxed out guards for your place, and if you have more money, you can buy more guards. And then in order for people to get into your shit while you're at work, they have to do a huge fucking raid to kill those guards to get in, or sentry guns, or I mean, it wouldn't be guns, but magic.
To that same degree. Like hardcore fan bases have proven they'll fix that problem on their own. Like that's what EVE Online is all about, right? Is they like fucking coordinate times and call each other to make sure that they can all like be online at the same time or the right time, or like,
Well, I'm just saying though, it's like if you build a city and the three of us are, we work, we have jobs, like some fucking kids at home during summer vacation right now could be like, oh, look at this village we found, and just destroy all our shit because we're not there to save it.
You probably get a text message like you're under attack.
Yeah, you can't do that. You're at work. You have an anxiety attack at work because your city's getting destroyed.
Oh, shit. You probably log in on your iPad with an app, Airstrike.
Yeah.
But that's like, I mean, obviously, I think it's becoming really clear, much like how EVE isn't for people like us who have day jobs, or not even day jobs, but who just don't want to devote that much time to something, who don't want to like log in every day and establish a perimeter around their city to make sure that they're not being attacked.
But it would be awesome if we could do that and not have to worry about it. Like if it wasn't one of those things where it's like you have to commit to play this game, it would be much more awesome if like we were able to make like a little civilization in there and have people join up, and we can go to work the next day and not worry about our shit getting burnt down because we had enough gold to buy guards or like like beasts that sit outside and catapults that and while we're at work, we do get alerted that we're being attacked and just fucking pray to God that when we get home, our place is still there. You know,
yo, Greg, you home, dude?
Someone's got to get home. We need to fight. John
just
leaves work early.
Call, just like, get your ass home, motherfucker.
No, we got to become friends with the people who are home all day. And be like, all right, guys, guard. We'll give you a stipend. You get a daily stipend.
So now we're paying real money for guards.
In-game currency still.
Yeah.
What would be even better?
That. I mean, they'll have that.
What would be even better if, we rush home and the idea isn't to defend our home. We're like, no, let's fucking go after these guys. We're gonna kill these motherfuckers.
And it seems as though they're taking a page out of EVE Online, where they want to generate a social history of the game, much as the stories of EVE. How it's being developed into that television show that I bring up all the time. Yeah. It seems like they want to develop a history on servers, and they want people to be excited about, remember 5 years ago when the great battle of...
Like, they were attacking this village, but really they didn't realize it was a diversion, while the other team was actually at their village, blowing up their village, and they had a secret village somewhere out, like shit like that starts happening, like espionage, and people are joining other guilds, but really they're like spies to come and tell people when they're not going to be online.
So when we're at work and our shit's getting destroyed...
Man, I'd rather just have that life. Fuck work. I'll just play this game.
Now
you
want to play again. You could be a hired guard.
I'll be a hired guard.
It looks great. It looks so good. The art style looks cool. It's less EverQuesty and more World of Warcrafty, but it's very pretty. It's a very nice aesthetic. It's a little Disney-ish, which is cool. So that's that. That's the MMO. But speaking of MMOs, I'm ready to play some Elder Scrolls Online. That looks great.
Yeah, that looks good. That was, for me, it was the next MMO I was going to get into.
I'll probably get into that too. Yeah. I'm glad that they switched over to first person because it looks real cool.
That's why I probably wouldn't have gotten it or have been so inclined to get it otherwise. I like the idea of being able to play Skyrim open world with with other people, with my friends. That's what I want to do. So,
and we know Josh doesn't like to play video games with anybody but himself.
No. I am all about this. This is the game where I will make the exception, and I am all about joining our guild. I'm joining the AwayCast guild.
There we go.
Oh, that'd be cool. We should start our own little guild.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, that'd be pretty cool. Let's start a guild.
I think we should. It's a good idea.
Damn right.
But what I really like about this is that, because I've always wondered how an open world game like this is going to work with other people. Because I want a Fallout game like this. I want a Fallout game just like this, an online Fallout game.
Maybe that's what's coming.
Well,
maybe that's what's taking so long. Maybe EverQuest. Maybe it's going to be next gen MMO.
I'm hoping that this will kind of set into, they have this figured out.
Set the wheels in motion.
Just copy and paste it over to the
Copy and paste it over the Fallout engine.
There you go.
Done. Put in the online tab.
No, but them figuring out how to do this with this game, if it works well in that first person perspective with like the same style of gameplay as Skyrim, because they are very similar, Fallout and Skyrim, in a lot of aspects, it's going to be much easier for them to, make it happen.
Oh man, Fallout. I'd play the hell out of a Fallout MMO.
I forget it. My life is gone. God. It's over. It's done. I'm done. I'm done.
Gregg has this look in his eyes of just complete bereft, no soul left. If
it happened, I would forget about the Kentucky Zero Axe. I probably would. I'd probably forget to eat for a long time.
I'd have to come knock. Gregg's mom would go, can you knock on Gregg's door and see if he's all right?
You come in here, it would just smell really bad. It'd be like gross. There'd be just like Domino's boxes piled up.
Gregg gained 100 pounds.
I'd just be this big, I have one of those like hats with the cups in it.
He'd look like the dude from Tremors. Like the dude, the mutant guy. It's like in the bathtub. Nobody knows Tremors.
Tremors? Mutant guy in Tremors?
Yeah, at the end. Yeah, no, not Tremors. Slither?
Oh, okay.
Slither.
Or you could even do, the guy from Seven, who Gluttony from Seven.
Right. What am I thinking of? It's Slither, right? It's those little things that are like they kill the family.
Oh, I haven't seen Slither.
But I know it's not Tremors.
Watch Slither, and you'll see Gregg at the end. Yeah. Gregg's at the end of Slither playing Fallout.
Not only
I do like to imagine Gregg, like when they announce Fallout, Gregg isn't saving up to like buy Fallout. He's saving up enough money to quit his job for a year and play Fallout.
Yeah, that's what he has, a Fallout fund.
I've got $15,000 saved, and this is what I'm doing.
Just pay my rent up front and just close and lock my door and just. I'm gonna cut a hole in the door big enough for a Domino's box to get through.
I'm just imagining your landlord getting one year's rent check and being like, "The fuck is this?"
I'll see you next October.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be Ready Player One. That's all it is. Good shit. So later this week, Josh, we'll play some
Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown, yeah. Oh, I remember a few podcasts ago, speaking of some Nintendo, we were talking about possibly, hey, you know, it'd be funny, guys, haha, if Reggie was a character in Super Smash Brothers and he'd like have fatalities, he'd be violent. All right, maybe not the fatality part, but apparently people are campaigning to get Reggie into Smash Brothers.
Good. This is a decent Nintendo campaign.
Yeah, I'm into it. There's a petition online. People are signing it. I haven't yet. I might have to make it a point to put my Herbie Hancock on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta join with the Wii U signatures because how many do they need? Like 10,000?
It doesn't matter.
Probably 10,000 Wii U's out there.
It doesn't matter how many signatures they get at this point. It's like it's in the news. People are talking about it. They're going to do it no matter what. They never have anything good to show ever. So if they can do anything that'll make everybody happy, you know that the next Nintendo press conference is going to have Reggie as a character.
They're going to have a Nintendo Direct.
This is their one more thing. They're one more thing at the next press conference.
Nintendo Direct is just it's Reggie. He's going to show up. Oh man.
No. How they should do it is they should have when they have Reggie come to talk, but instead of it being Reggie, it's his character in the game comes out, and they have like a little really badly written monologue between the two of them.
See, would you rather have Reggie's me or like a model of Reggie?
No, I want a new Reggie, not
like a person Reggie.
Yeah, I want like a new. I want it to be kind of realistic looking, almost like kind of look like him.
Yeah, and, he's got like the Mortal Kombat
show
animation.
Those Wii U HD graphics.
Yeah,
I'm worried they're gonna make it as me. And
that would suck.
That would be garbage.
Yeah, I don't think
that would be garbage.
That's a cop out. Fuck that.
Do not make it as me. Make it look awesome like him. And give him like nunchucks, like Wii remote nunchucks or something.
Yeah, like
as
what would
his
his attacks be? What could he would have play the game?
Yeah, he'd have play the game.
I hope his attacks would just be violent. I hope he'd be the violent Super Smash Bros.
That's what he said. He's got knives. He stabs.
Like I hope he grabs them by like the scruff of their shirt and then headbutts them and like blood spurts out of their.
He's gonna have like something to do with the console. He's gonna have like Wii remotes and hit you with that, or it's gonna be like some character from a Nintendo game that's not like he's gonna have their ability.
He's gonna throw like shells.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something silly.
Picks up the Wii gamepad and whacks someone over the head with it.
They'll probably make a Mario character that looks like Reggie or something.
What
like
if he just threw out like advertisements for like depending on what game's coming out, like you see Zelda advertisements.
That's his weapon. Is just what's new coming out.
Play the game. Advertisement.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it's on the docket. I use docket a lot today. That's a good word to use. Docket
is a good word.
That's all we got on the docket.
Nice hard CK consonant.
Ak. Ragnarok. Ak.
Yeah. Anything else, Josh? Anything you want to say or talk about, or anything you want to tell us?
Oh, are you keeping something from us, dude?
I saw Ellie Goulding this weekend.
Really?
She's awesome. Yeah.
Did you hang out with her? Were you guys like sitting next to each other, talking, eating drinking smoothies?
No, she was pretty far away. But I mean, she was on the stage while I was watching her.
Oh, weird.
It was a much better performance than I actually thought it would be.
That's good.
I also got to see Postal Service, and Postal Service was fucking awesome.
That's great.
I went to a wedding on Friday.
God damn.
And let me tell you though, it was probably the nicest wedding I've ever been to in my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was it for?
My roommate in college.
In
Cortland. Because you were my roommate in college, Greg.
That's right. And
in my first college, he was my roommate, and it was the biggest Italian wedding I've ever seen in my life. There's probably 400 guests there.
Really?
Which is insane. Huge. They had fog machines. It was you guys ever do a Viennese? You know what a Viennese is?
No.
It's like afterwards they have chocolate fountains and cotton candy machines, and
it's like a carnival.
It's just like a dessert buffet. Okay. But it was the biggest I've ever seen in my whole life. They had everything, absolutely everything. Actually, Greg, it's kind of funny talking about ice cream that looks like meats.
Mm-hmm.
They had it looked like chicken nuggets and French fries, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I grabbed a plate, went back. Apparently, the French fries are slices of cake with raspberry and caramel on them to look like ketchup and mustard.
Oh.
And the chicken nuggets are cheesecake balls with not breadcrumbs,
cookie crumb,
pie crust crumbs around them, and they look like chicken nuggets. And you dip it in sauce, and it's like caramel.
Amazing.
Flipped me out, man. I ate it.
I would eat that.
Also had a cake pop.
I could get crazy fat eating that stuff.
Cake pop. Good.
Pops. Yeah.
They had a bunch of little parfait cups.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were getting. Ate one, apple pie.
Good.
You believe it?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good. That's good.
That's good. Sounds good. I gained some weight. Probably.
Yeah, well,
Now I want cheesecake. Thanks a lot.
Oh, it's not a problem. That's what I'm here for. So we have a few more weeks here before we're all going to be in our rooms playing games anyway.
yeah.
So Josh, you're heading out to PAX soon?
End of the month, yeah.
End of the month? PAX. Are you
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah, it's getting to be appointment time. We're setting up appointments to play games, as it were.
You
Go
got
out
to
there
get
and
your
do that
crap
stuff.
together for Comic-Con, buddy.
Oh, you mean like I got to buy the tickets and everything?
Get your crap together.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Trust
All
me.
right.
I got this.
Okay. If you're going to be hanging here, we're going to be putting you up for room and board.
we got you with that. Just come hang out for the festive. I mean, we didn't.
You have to cosplay.
It doesn't look like we're getting what we want to get there, but we're gonna go and we're gonna do our best while we're there. So.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
I'm excited. I'm pissed that I can't go to Seattle at the end of the month. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But
Josh, are you doing like any interviews or anything when you go out there? Anything planned besides playing games? You trying to?
No, not really. I'll actually.
We're
I'll
talking
talk
to
about,
anyone?
I got something to talk to you about after the podcast is done.
Okay, cool.
whoa, exclusive. All right, everybody.
Let's end this sucker.
Let's end this sucker. Josh has to talk some serious business with us. So
Yes,
once
it is.
again, thanks for coming this week, listening to us talk about video games and other various items of discussion. Joshua,
Yo.
thanks for slinging smoothies this week and having the actual voice to come and talk to us at the end here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem,
Oh.
dude. So I'll get to you in a second, Greg. Okay. AwayCast.com. Follow. I noticed we have a bunch of new followers coming after us. That's cool. That's cool. We got a little spike.
Yeah, let's get some more people.
We got a
in
spike.
here. I mean, the show's been getting better. I think.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely. I think so. This
Hey,
one,
we've hit a
This
groove.
week's
We've hit a-
episode's not that good.
yeah, this one was kind of everyone's a little flat this
We're a
week.
little flat this week, but
It's okay.
the last week's episode was amazing. Go back and listen to last week's
know
if you
what?
haven't.
I think this week's isn't funny.
But also last week's we got into some deep, because you know what it is. This week we're just talking about what's happening. Last week was an opinion show. We got
Right.
kind of deep on some.
Because Phil Fish fucked up.
Yeah, but
Well,
that got us into some other stuff, and we got to do that more often. We plan on doing that more often. We've got some good feedback from the last episode, but we're like we said this I think last week. We're in the process of getting some new things happening with this, so we just want to make sure we put something out every week for you guys.
Yeah, we
to listen to.
actually have a lot of really big changes. I've invested a couple of dollars into some really cool shit. So,
Cha-ching.
yeah, that's real. But what's the opposite of cha-ching?
Wah, wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah, wah.
Not eating this week.
Bankrupt from Wheel of Fortune.
Nah, yeah, no, that's good.
Done. All right, AwayCast.com. Follow Facebook, Twitter, all the social media. Josh, once again, thank you for joining us this week. Greg,
Yes,
you're the man. Thanks
I
again.
know I'm the man.
All right, we know you know.
Goodbye.
See you guys next week.
Laters.
Later.